Welcome to LFN News, a production of LFN Media, bringing you the latest in celebrity news, with specific analysis to keep you in the know of what is going on around you. The odds seem to be in R. Kelly's favor, as almost everything seems to be going R. Kelly's way of late. From news that his Cook County charges might just be dropped, after sources close to Cook County's District Attorney Kim Foxx revealed. And now news that his pending New York appeal, that has since dragged on, is now finally in the works. In July, R. Kelly, through his lawyer Jennifer Bonjean, formally informed a federal court that he intends to appeal his conviction on racketeering charges. Although it has not been publicly shared before, R. Kelly made the decision to take on attorney Jennifer Bonjean, who successfully got now 85-year-old Bill Cosby off a biased conviction, after it had become apparent he would be charged guilty, following the disappointment of his legal team then. Based on her experience in similar cases therefore, Bonjean was hired specifically to handle R. Kelly's appeal, which was imminent at the time. After Kelly was sentenced in New York, Bonjean immediately announced she would be appealing the case, maintaining that the prosecution had been so far-reaching, charging Kelly on racketeering charges. These were not a RICO Act violation, Bonjean said outside the Brooklyn federal courthouse after the sentencing. These were isolated events that happened over many years, and the government simply tried to plead around the statute of limitations to bring in a RICO charge, which was simply inappropriate. All I can tell you is there was no enterprise. It was one man with allegations by a number of women, which doesn't make it an enterprise, and that is why he's not guilty of racketeering. Bonjean stressed. This has made the whole public presume it is the same card she will be playing in the appeal, which according to sources close to R. Kelly's camp say is finally underway, despite the fact that the appeal filing did not mention on what grounds R. Kelly intended to appeal the verdict. A reliable source however revealed that, the prepared appeal file is way broader than everyone seems to have anticipated, covering other technicalities in the entire trial that punch serious holes in both the presiding judges, and the prosecution's actions. Bonjean's high level of influence and tact, were first evidently tested when R. Kelly was temporarily placed on suicide watch, following his unfair sentencing, where she portrayed immense pressure on the government after she sued the Metropolitan Detention Center saying, Kelly had been wrongly put on suicide watch, despite knowing he was not suicidal. Kelly's suit claimed that he had been placed on suicide watch to punish him for his celebrity status. He said he was unfairly made to wear a paper-like smock and was unfairly refused utensils to eat. The suit also said the conditions were causing Kelly irreparable mental harm, and he sought compensatory damages for all emotional distress, humiliation, pain and suffering, and other harm in an amount to be determined at trial. Barely a week into the incident, the Metropolitan Detention Center officials chickened out and took Kelly off the suicide watch. The facility's warden Heriberto Telles, who had been categorically named in the suit, immediately authorized the suicide watch to be lifted, allegedly following a clinical assessment, according to the filing. Kelly's emergency motion for a temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction is now moot, the filing stated. Why the center had not called for a clinical assessment ahead of their uninformed, biased decision to place Kelly on suicide watch in the first place, one can only wonder. It is allegedly careless irregularities like these, that Bonjean has filed in her massive appeal defense, sources reveal. Then just recently, at the recently concluded Chicago trial, Bonjean further proved herself as an attorney like no other, after she steered the trial into a mixed verdict, with R. Kelly winning on more than half of the counts charged against him in the indictment. The jury did their job and concluded, as I concluded long ago, that obviously this case was overcharged. The government wanted to, as I said during my closing arguments, be greedy, and they charged counts they couldn't win, and that they shouldn't have, and not just against Mr. Kelly, but obviously also the co-defendants. So I wouldn't imagine they are celebrating right now, and they shouldn't be. They should go back and figure out whether their approach to this case was the right one. Bonjean said in a press conference outside the Dirksen Federal Courthouse, downtown Chicago after the verdict. Although we still await the actual sentencing for this trial, It also helped make a statement in support of Bonjean's argument that there was indeed no enterprise, a fact the government must have been a little too keen to support, with their joint conviction of R. Kelly's co-defendants in the case, Daryl McDavid and Milton June Brown, which failed miserably. There have been speculations that we shall not be seeing an appeal hearing before the sentencing hearing of the Chicago trial in February next year, but sources suggest we just could be seeing the first appeal hearing early January next year, although this has not yet been confirmed and publicly shared. Although not yet formally filed, Bonjean has also hinted on appealing the Chicago guilty verdicts as well, but these will most definitely have to wait for the sentence hearing. With the Cook County charges most likely to be dropped however, and Kelly most likely bound to receive a ruling to serve the Chicago sentence concurrently with his current New York sentence, R. Kelly is likely to walk completely free, after a successful New York appeal. It is no wonder that fans from R. Kelly fan camp are equally so eager to see the appeal hearing, R. Kelly's certain ticket to freedom officially scheduled and underway. Patricia says, "It's indeed high time we saw this appeal done and out of the way. R. Kelly has unjustly served enough time. He should be out of prison already, doing what he does best. It's very worrying to see how deep our once treasured justice system has fallen, having a man locked up based on hearsay from those that intend to extort from him. Absurd. I have full confidence in Bonjean and that's what keeps me positive. I know we shall beat this and see R. Kelly walk out of prison free, just like was the case for the legendary Bill Cosby. Let's get the appeal over with." David says, "I personally had hopes that R. Kelly would be having this year's Christmas a Freeman at his home. For the government to even go as far as alleging R. Kelly is a flight risk, as justification for their bail refusal when he was hearing the New York trial, simply shows you how unjust our justice system actually is." The presiding judge in New York went on to slap Kelly with a sentence, even higher than what prosecution was seeking. Who does that? I am sure there was a lot of shoddy work that was orchestrated in that unfair New York trial, and I trust Bonjean to dig this out, and use it to win the favor of the appeal judge. All the mistakes they have, they will have to pay for. And the R&B king will finally be free. Free R. Kelly. That's all we had for you today. Please let us know in the comment section below, what you thinking of Bonjean's performance in the upcoming appeal that is expected to commence early next year. We value your honest opinion. Thank you for watching LFN News, a production of LFN Media, giving you another view of issues at hand. To get notified whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now and hit the notification icon, and remember to give us your comment on the subject matter below.